Good afternoon, everybody. This is Maria Burke here, and in a minute I'm going to introduce you to my lovely guest, Bernie Daly. But first, well, in theory, first I was going to be playing a little clip for you, but in fact I've had nothing but tech difficulties. And so what I made for myself earlier on is this. I'm really feeling like I've got my L plates on. So I have ended up having to use somebody else's computer at the last minute, and I haven't got the little clip for you. But hi, Lorraine, it's lovely to have you here. So I'm a complete novice to going live, and I'm a complete novice to doing StreamYard. So bear with me, everybody, as I go along. So what I'm going to do in a minute is have a little chat with Bernie. But first, just to tell you that in 2 weeks' time, there's going to be a free workshop called 321 Start, and it's all about getting our vision right for the future, because you know, at the moment there are difficult times for everybody. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but we have such an opportunity to use this time to get the vision we want for the future, and to get our heads clear and to feel that we've got something to look forward to as well. So that's kind of my little pitch at the beginning, and if you're interested in signing up for 321 Start, you'll find the link in the post for you. So now I want, and thank you for whoever's sending the hearts. I'm still trying to work all this out, and it's lovely. We have a few viewers here now, and welcome also to everybody who's here in the replay. So now I want to introduce Bernie Daly to you. Bernie was a stay-at-home mom, and in 2018 she started a little journey, quite a big journey actually, a transformational journey, and now she's living a very different life. So welcome, Bernie. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Marie. It's great to be here.
Right. So do you want to tell us a bit about what was going on for you before 2018, what was going on?
Well, we were quite busy with 3 young children. One was a surprise. Just kind of going with the flow and very much just getting on with everyday life. And my husband was working long hours, and I just found myself kind of in a bit of found myself down when I didn't need to be down. I had a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be grateful for, and 3 beautiful children. And I just knew something wasn't right. I wasn't feeling myself. I kind of felt like I wasn't exactly doing what I really wanted to do. And I wasn't even sure what that was, if that sounds very vague, but I was having a little bit of a problem with one of my children with a bit of anxiety. So I was trying to find ways to help them as well. And I suppose it made me start looking at everything, the balance of everything, not just me, us as a family, how we worked, how we were literally just getting by every day and existing rather than actually enjoying what we had and enjoying each other and making the most of it. And kind of, I suppose I was trying to find something that kind of would click with me and make me feel better, feel like I was going to be doing a bit more and more purposeful, I suppose it'd be the best word, and for us all. And I was probably too hard on myself. That's another big thing, and probably still am. I'm a work in progress at the end of the day. But so I was on that little journey anyway, and it was funny how I came across you. And there's no, the synchronicities are quite funny, and I could get into them and I could talk all day about them. But it's that whole thing of everything happens for a reason, and you come across people in your life and they could dip in and they dip out, and then it's amazing how they come back into your life at the right time when you really need them the most. And you were one of them. And it was funny that, I came across yourself on Facebook, and I was surprised and shocked and kind of going, wow, this is Maria. I know Maria. And then it turned out that we had that link to the past, which was kind of amazing. But it's funny how, like I said, how your paths cross again. And I kind of really got what you were doing. I actually bought your book. That was the first thing I did, was your book. And I had won your cards, my kind of magic cards, and they really clicked with me. And I actually really loved using them with my children. And I was trying to look at positive ways of influencing them at the time as well, through another friend who I went in. She had a great way with children, and I won't get into that now, but she knows who she is. And it kind of all gelled together. It all fitted. There were little tools that just, the more you believed in them and the more that you worked with them and then let them work with you, I think the more I felt myself coming back into my own vibe and my own strengths, I suppose, and not being so hard on myself and just trying to enjoy life a bit more. And yeah, that's kind of how it started off. And then I ended up doing 3-2-1, which your first one, that was 2018. I still have the notebook.
It was a look. Oh, I love it. The zebra's fabulous.
I still have all of them. I've done it a few. The first time I did it, I found it was a little bit too hard on myself, and I was very like, I have to do this. But the more I felt that I let it sit with me and use the tools that you gave me, and really kind of, they were very thought provoking, and they really kind of, if you write out those questions and those little things those little exercises that you give. Doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, what age you are in, what part of life you're in, whether you're a man or a woman or a child or a teenager. If you allow those questions and those little tools to sit with you, and it just makes you think in a different way. And the more you think in that way, the more it becomes part of your life, and it does grow. It does grow. And if you find, what I've found for me is, if I find myself sitting kind of falling back into old ways, kind of getting hard on myself again, getting into a negative state, maybe letting something bother me way too much, I just say, hang on now, stop. You got the tools here, girl. You can do this. And I find then when I go back to what I know, it sorts itself out.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I'm just loving your honesty, because, I think we can all identify with being there. And it's certainly the reason, like, I did a life coaching course in the first place, and I know that's what you were really surprised I was doing when I was doing. And we'll fill in the story in a minute about how we know each other in the past. But I did the life coaching course for my own personal development, because I could see that, I needed something to help me. So and that's why I share and do what I do now, because I think we all need to know this, And I'm happy to hear the comments. It's great to see Amy there, and Rosemary and Ellen and Sandra and Sarah and Lorraine. So it's lovely. Like, there's a little group forming here now. But it is so true. It's about having the tools. And I was thinking about that earlier today. You can't do your garden if you don't have the clippers and the lawnmower and stuff. And it's the same thing in life. Like, these tools, unfortunately, up till now, and I know they're much better in schools now, but they're not, they're tools that weren't available. Life was at a different stage in the past, So will we tell them a little bit about how we know each other from the past? Because that was like one of the amazing synchronicities of reconnecting. Because I was so surprised when you won the cards, because you won them.
Yes.
You won cards on a competition, and you won a pack, and your sister won a pack, and you landed at my doorstep. And because your profile picture was looking so different from the girl I knew in the past, now I'm looking at the girl I know for 20 something years, but I couldn't get over and I'm getting shivers even thinking about it. So what exactly happened? You landed at my doorstep, and
Marie says, "Oh, you're my Bernie." yeah, it's amazing. I lived around the corner from you, and I walked into the telephone boxes at the top of our estate. I had my last 50 pence. I was about to phone somebody else, and I seen a number for a babysitting job, and I said, okay, and I made the choice, and I phoned you instead. And you were like, "Where are you ringing from?" "I'm actually ringing," and I told you. And you're like, "Okay, come on down." And I ended up basically working for you. And I got to know your beautiful family. And you were always I kind of always was in a little bit of admiration of you anyway, because you're this lovely, bubbly, kind of happy person. And then I ended up, I think I even worked for a little while in the sock factory with you as well. So yes, and then we kind of, I suppose we grew apart as I took on other career roles and went my separate ways, as it were, and we hadn't seen each other in a long, long time. It's years.
And there you were, because the thing was, your profile picture you had glasses on, and it didn't look like, whereas now you're exactly like the same girl who walked through my door 22 years ago since you first walked through my door.
It's probably more. Dare I say, is it? It is probably about 22. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Maybe even 23, dare I say?
Yeah, I know. None of us are that age at all.
Yeah, no.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. So what tools like are you using? Because I think it's so important to share the tools. So what are you using like yourself on a regular basis, regardless of where? And I know also your kids use things.
They do, yes.
For your kids. And I think, you know, with everybody who's listening here, and I see Susan and Lorena have joined as well. So welcome, ladies. What tools are you using? Because loads of people want to know what the tools are, and I'm always open to hearing new things. So what are the ones that you're using all the time?
Sometimes simple is best. We love the affirmation cards. You know, if you're having an off day or something like that, I think the kids kind of, especially the kids, Rita especially, my youngest, and they love just taking it out and see what we got to focus on, what's really going on here, and how do we kind of move past it, or what's the week got in store for us. And affirmations is a big thing. The daily affirmation, I know part of 321 was writing it every morning, but to be honest with you, I'm probably at the point now where it's like a morning prayer for me. I wake up and I say it, or else I find myself, if something's not going right, something's going wrong, or I'm not happy with something, or I'm unsure, how do I go forward from this? That's when I find myself, I sit down, just write it out. What's the problem? What's really going on? I mightn't have that answer straight away, as you just say. I do let it come in. And sometimes you find the answer comes a little bit easier than you think, or the solution, or whatever it may be, or else the problem isn't as big as you thought it was. I think that's very much key. Or writing a new affirmation for something that you want to go well for you, or well for everybody, as it were. And even for my children, writing out an affirmation that I'm happy with the way their life is going, and that they are happy in themselves. I find that very powerful. And it's had a knock-on effect on others as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing as well. And certainly this is information I didn't have when my kids were small, and I used to be worried about things happening, and it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when I did learn it and I started turning it around, I would do that as well. I used to write out like they're really happy in school, and you know, when a new school year was starting, and you know, they really get on well with the teacher and they've lovely friends, and it's amazing when you set that intention out. I think your kids almost pick up the vibe as well, that you're expecting all these good things for them. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And yeah, and even like, as you know, we done a big move here about a year and a half ago, which 321 probably brought us to that in our own right, because when William seen me kind of getting happier, that's my husband, when he seen me kind of, okay, Bernie's happier in herself, she's happier in her own skin, and we started really, he kind of started thinking a bit like me. We do kind of scarily on a normal day anyway. Even the children at this point do laugh at us, but we can be very, very in tune, and we'd actually come to each other with the same idea and kind of go, hold on now, who thought that first? But we were at a point where we were finding that Will was away the whole time at work. He was gone. It was like, I was like a single mum by times, because, you know, and then when he would be back home, I'd be trying to catch up on work or things around the house, or jobs had to be done. So I kind of was finding that we were in kind of, is this really what we want? And yet we had so much, as I said before, to be thankful for. But what I found, Will, was opportunities were coming up, and he found himself, okay, these opportunities weren't for him, or he couldn't go for them because they're in the wrong place. It's kind of like, God, that come up again. It's not, I can't go for that. It's in the wrong place. It's too far away. And next thing, suddenly he started thinking very differently, because he was listening to me. And I know he probably thought I was a bit mad in the head by times, but he'd still listen, which was key. And he found himself saying one day, he's seen someone of his colleagues get a very good opportunity that he could have gotten, but his colleague moved for it. And finally he was came home to me and said, Bernie, okay, look, maybe there is an opportunity here. Maybe we're actually in the wrong place, not the opportunities. That was a big thing, because we were living a long time in our home. We were only after renovating. If you looked at us, even when he said it to me and we thought about doing it, I thought, this is nuts. It's absolutely crackers. I'm happy where I am. Your parents are down the road. My mum is down the road. and kids are in school, why on earth would we move? Because I moved a good bit as a child. I said, I'm not doing that to my children. And but then we started really thinking about it and thinking, well, could we actually have a better work-life balance in overall and did we really need to stay where we were to get that? And we started really thinking, and we kind of done a lot of soul searching and driving the country and having a good think about, will we or won't we do this? And it felt right. We kind of came across one part of the country where I am now, and kind of felt like home. And it was a tough move, but it's the right move.
Yeah, and it's funny. I can feel it. It's really. Yes. I didn't notice how emotional it was before, because to be honest, I remember we met for coffee and like that, you know. And the next thing was like, we're moving, and it was like it was such a quick.
I know,
wasn't it? And it's like almost. It was almost.
It was and it wasn't. It was. There was a lot of. We really took a long time to decide that between us. That wasn't something that he came and just said, Bernie, we're doing this because of my work. And he had to be sure that I was on board. I had to be sure that I felt it was the right for us as a family. And I suppose when I seen to where we were moving to, I kind of felt like, well, okay, you're always going to be close to the city. You know, there's colleges either side of you. You definitely have opportunity around you. So for the children, even, there was lots to do here. And I knew it was a big thing moving away from family, but I already had family kind of not living too close to me. And like my mum works anyway. And so I didn't have real roots. When I really thought about it, I said, no, actually, I don't really have roots here. It's just where I happen to have my home. But home is where your hat is.
And where your family is and where your heart is.
Absolutely. And I suppose we kind of felt like it's actually a small country. We really are it's a country where I really feel like, you know, we stand in our own way. We let opportunities pass us by because we put ourselves in a box. We're too afraid of change. And at the end of the day, sometimes you have to take a chance to make a change if you do want to improve or do something a bit better. And yeah, is it a big chance that we took? Massive. Are we happy? Yes, absolutely. Is it always easy? No. There's times where you've got to regroup, as I do say, and kind of look again and kind of go, right, we're letting things slip. Where can we improve? And I think it's a natural kind of organic, I suppose, thing that I just feel like it happens naturally now in our house, which is a lovely thing. You know, even if the children come home and one of them's in bad form, I'd be saying, right, what's happened? What's going on? And my middle little lad, he'd be very, very much, he'd bottle everything up. Doesn't want to tell you. He'd nearly take him a week to tell you if something was bothering him or something happened. And I suppose I'm trying to encourage them to, when you talk about something, it actually helps. And let's look at a way to find a solution. There's always a way to find a solution, because there's no point in going around beating yourself up over something or feeling down over something when maybe just something very simple can make it go away or make it better, and or maybe just not be such a burden on your own shoulders. And I suppose 3-2-1 has always kind of, I suppose it always comes back into the back of my head, you know, where if something's not going right, I'm kind of like, right, I need to write this down. What do I have to learn from this? What lesson am I being shown? Your voice rings in my head a good bit. And I'm sure I ring like you in other people's heads at this point, because I do find that I probably have stopped myself. I feel like I nearly kind of tell people the same thing. If I see somebody panicking or stressing, I'm like, calm down. It's not such a big deal. We'll find a solution. We'll find a way to work it out. And sometimes I could maybe follow my own advice a little bit better, but we're getting there.
Yeah, and you know what I always find, and they say that anyway, that don't you teach what you need to learn most. So that's what I find is all the time is I'm constantly saying things, and then I have to put the mirror up to myself and say, hang on a second here. Are you really doing this yourself? Is this why it's showing up for you? But you know, Bernie, yes. I think it's lovely sometimes, you know, and I understand completely. It's like when do you step forward and actually say something to somebody, and when do you step back and kind of mind your own business and not feel,
Absolutely.
you know? But I think sometimes it's lovely for somebody to say, hang on, do you know what? It's okay. Just take a little breath there. I'm here. Let's have a cup of tea and I'll help you work out a solution. I think, you know, it's great sometimes when you know you've somebody near you who can do that for you, and just to even feel somebody's there to support you, you know. Absolutely, a bit like today when I couldn't get any of the tech to work and I had one friend praying for me and you were there as Cam, and luckily Melanie, my daughter, was here and she was able to give me her laptop instead to work, because this was a disaster. This wasn't going to happen. There was echoes all over the place, but I suppose it was didn't we have that kind of moment ourselves? We keep
yes, we did. Yes.
Keep calm and work it out. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So is there any final bit of advice you have for anybody? And I just love this whole thing of being the mom who actually takes the time to talk to your kids, like, because we're all so busy, but like when you take the time, I think and sometimes it can be hard to find the time, but I think in the long term,
absolutely,
kids are better off, aren't they?
They are, yeah, yes. No, for me, I suppose, the question again, it's...
If you have any last final tip you want to share with anybody about, you know, things that they can do for themselves, or maybe just take a breath and have a cup of tea.
Well, I suppose, I think everybody just stop putting so much pressure on yourself, and you don't have to take on the world. You might think it sometimes, but you don't have to. Sometimes it's okay for things not to be going well. It's okay for you to have to take a bit of time out and mind yourself a little bit. And, you know, I think if you mind yourself a little bit more too, you'll naturally mind everybody else around you easier as well. And I suppose for me, and it's not a ploy for an advertisement for you, but I would say 3, 2, 1 focus. It's a great little, I wouldn't call it a course. It's not, and it's not something that you do if anybody decides to join you on it for the first time. What I would say is, don't put pressure on yourself to do it. Let it do it in your own pace. Don't be feeling like, oh, this is a test, I have to do this, somebody's going to be judging me on it. It's for you, but you give the people the tools to bring themselves on the journey. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, and I think you're so right. Like, it's not, I know it started out being called a challenge because that was the thing then, and I can't call it a challenge anymore because, you know what, we've enough challenges in the world. We don't need challenges.
Absolutely.
So I'm calling it a program now, but I think it really is a journey. But yes. You know, sometimes the word journey is just like used so much, you almost like you don't want to ruin 3, 2, 1 by calling it some sort of a
journey
thing. You know,
I just think that it's just, you can take as much or as little from it as you like, and you'll find there's certain little nuggets there and certain little things that'll just really connect with you personally, and it'll be different to somebody else. They'll take a different nugget from it, and if that's all you have, and if it can help you through any little thing in life, I think, why not? You know, we owe it to ourselves, and the way I see it is, it's nice to be able to share that kind of knowledge and that sort of, well, look, there is something you can do to make yourself feel better. Why not try it? Mightn't work for you, but at least give it a go. And I think that's half the battle, is just being prepared to try new things, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And Rosemary is here saying, I agree, Bernie, 3, 2, 1. So yes. Yeah, and it is definitely, but I think your overall message about not being hard on yourself, like that's something you said at the start, you repeated a few times. That's the thing, like, isn't it? And we're all, and most of us, I don't know really anybody, even the people who seem very calm in themselves, usually they still have that at the back of their head. There's Rosemary saying she loves your attitude, Bernie. Yeah, I love her attitude as well, Rosemary. She's great, isn't she? So, Bernie, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you.
I know you mentioned 3, 2, 1 focus a few times. It'll be starting again in May. But there's a lovely little taster for everybody. So there's 3, 2, 1 start, and it's a 3-day, well, it's a workshop over 3 days, because I'm into doing things in bite-sized pieces. And I know people are very busy. So it's going to be on over 3 days, the 27th, 28th, and 29th of April. And there's a link in the post if you want to go and sign up for it. And I'd love to have as many people there as possible, because it is all about getting a new vision and being positive and learning all of these things. And thanks to Gain Ground, Own Your Future. It's lovely to have you here. So I'm actually examining 3 themes over the 3 weeks. And this week we were talking about being at a crossroads, which is where Bernie was back in 2018. Next week, the theme is about being stuck, or more importantly, how to get unstuck. And on Friday, I'll be interviewing Lorena Britton, who's actually here in the group today, all the way. And while it's 1 o'clock Irish time, Lorena is over in New York. So it'll be 8 a.m. New York time when Lorena is here. Tell us about how she got unstuck in the last few months. But also sometimes exactly what Bernie said about needing to do something new. I have a special guest on next Wednesday, which is the 21st, and that's Janine Thorpe. And Janine does energy reading. And I think sometimes when you're stuck, you need something different. And definitely, if you can get the energy moving, like in your system, it'll help in all areas of your life. So there's 2 things to look forward to next week. So yeah, finally, I also, because we're at a crossroads as our theme this week, I have a blog done if you're looking for a bit of support around this, because I know myself, often when you rock up for something and you know it's on in a couple of weeks' time, you start to feel you want some help immediately. So there's a link for the blog in the post as well. So thank you all for being here. It's lovely to have been here with you all today. Bernie, I'm so grateful to you. And it's so funny as well, because I was going, I can't ask Bernie, she's too busy, but you had just taken affirmation cards with Rita, hadn't you? And taken photographs. Yes, just at the time that I connected with you, do you know? So
absolutely,
actually,
yes.
You know what? I don't think, I'm just grabbing them here now. And I know it was a funny start. Hey, Jenny Purcell, how are you doing? And Rosemary Riley. It was such a strange start because nothing worked right, but do you know what? We made it work, and isn't that what life is all about? So I'm just gonna, no video with me is ever a video with me without a card, is it? So let's see what our card is. Right, okay. Hang on here. I do the right thing for the right reason. Honesty is the only policy. So, you know, guys,
absolutely.
Anybody who missed it at the front, at the beginning, this is my honesty. I'm on my L plates here today, and it's been a challenge, but it's actually been really lovely. And I have really enjoyed chatting to you, Bernie. And I'm so glad to call you my friend, and that you've been in my life for so long. You were always such a blessing. So thank you so much. Lots of love.
Thank you,
everybody. And do seriously consider doing 3, 2, 1 start. There's a couple of things on every week with the themes and with interviews, and let's spread the good news and let's rise together. I think that's really what it's all about. So have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Lovely to see you all, because this is so strange. I'm actually on somebody else's laptop as well. So lots of love to everybody. Thanks, Bernie, and have a fabulous weekend, everybody, and chat soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.